Frat house music.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to an interview with, hosted by yours truly, Eunice Peaches White. It is here where I have the wonderful opportunity to interview talented people from all walks of life. And tonight, my special guest is Realtor Tracy Thompson. She's a realtor who is here tonight to talk about all things for home buyers, all things for sellers, all information for just what's happening right now, trending in the realty world. So we are happy to have her with us this evening, and I'll give you more information about her in just a moment. But first, I want to thank Armstrong International Media and Distribution for presenting an interview with. April J. Armstrong is the curator of Armstrong International Media and Distribution. It is a wonderful platform, the AIM Network, allowing lots of independent artists and entrepreneurs to showcase their works on her network. And I am happy to be one of those persons. So I want to thank April so much for presenting this program on the AIM Network. I'm so looking forward to seeing so many more content there. And we are here to celebrate one another. And that's the whole independent love that we have for us, for all people. So tonight, again, my special guest is Tracy Thompson, and she's a realtor. I want to get into really quickly her bio. Tracy have been a real estate agent or been in real estate since 2004, and she has loved every minute of it. This all began around in Austin, Texas, around 2001, when she bought her first home, a new construction building. She went through the experience of building a home, and it really intrigued her, and that is how she became interested in real estate. She loves the entire process from the buyer's perspective, and she was so impressed by her salesperson. So Tracy knows firsthand, from the beginning to the end, of what home ownership dream looks like and how to make it come true. So after that, she relocates back to Maryland in 2003, where she started her career in new home sales, working for a builder. She became very passionate about her role in helping people purchase and build their own dream homes. And she loves building long-lasting relationships with all of her clients, which is such a plus, I think, for a real estate agent. To this day, she is still in touch with many of her first-time homeowners. She takes the time to listen to her clients' needs and wants, and she has won several awards in customer service and has always had high remarks in those areas. So Tracy is a Maryland native and is very knowledgeable about the DMV area. As she is a woman of integrity and tenacity, you can trust that she is the agent for you. Tracy is also the mother of 2 girls that keeps her on her toes. She loves gardening, cooking, and staying active. Tracy is a realtor with Keller Williams, Washington, Capitol Hill. Tracy Thompson, thank you for being on an interview with.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's a lovely bio. I like how you mentioned, being intrigued from your own first time home buying experience in the state of Texas. And the report that you gained from your real estate agent is what you thought was top notch. And you said, you know what, if I ever do that, I guess I'll be that type of person too. Help people, reach their goals of being the first time homeowner. Yeah. You mentioned customer service being key, and then we'll get into everything else. What, as a first-time home buyer, why was that so important in terms of relationship with your real estate agent?
You mean the one that I had when I was building my
What
home?
you had, yes.
Yeah, I just remember, and it's a funny story about that too. His name was Michael. I still remember it.
Hmm.
He was just on top of everything, every question we had, because we had a ton of questions because this was our
Hmm.
first time and we were young. I mean, like 20, no, like 29 or young.
Yeah.
So we had lots of questions. He was always there to answer them. He was always kept us, informed of everything going on. We never felt like we were bothering him. I mean, it was just customer service 100%. And that just always stuck out to me. And I was like, wow, this is like, seems like such a cool job. And he seems to love his job and the way he's treating us, this is, I love this. And, so once I came back up to Maryland, and it's funny, I ended up working originally for the same builder that he worked for down in Austin.
Interesting. Okay.
And I even said his name and they knew who he was. So he even had a reputation up here in Maryland from down in Austin.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
I was like, that is such so cool because that was probably 5 years later, maybe five
Wow.
years later. So, and he had still was working for the company, but that just really impressed me, and the whole process of the whole thing impressed me, and I was just so intrigued and always asking questions of, besides just the questions about the house getting built, just the whole process of everything. So that always interests me, and he did a really good job, and it always just stuck in my mind. Mhm.
Okay. All right. So questions. We want to go straight there. For someone, potential home buyers and sellers, and are you just dealing with residential real estate, or do you also deal with commercial?
Just residential for now.
Okay.
Hmm.
So residential for now. A new home buyer, prospective home buyer, what questions should those persons ask any real estate agent before hiring them?
Well, they want to know, do they work in their client's best interest? I mean, I would hope that the realtor would say yes, because that's what we're here for. We're here for the client and we want to work in their best interest. We are representing them when it comes to purchasing a home. So I
Mhm.
think they should ask them, you know, I don't know necessarily. Some people want to ask how long you've been in the business. I don't really agree that may not be that important, because if they haven't been in the business that long, they usually have a mentor that's working with them that can help them. So I don't really think that's a great question to ask, but even though people do ask that question, but I just don't think it's that important, because, everybody has to start somewhere. So there's going to be
Mhm.
new agents,
Mhm.
regardless. So I just think they need to ask them if they're familiar with the area that they're looking in.
Mhm.
And, kind of ask them what the steps are. That's the most important. I mean, I have a sheet that I give all my buyers that walks them through the entire steps of buying a new home, because people
Uh-huh.
don't know, if it's their first time, how would they know? So
Right.
you need to know those questions.
So what are those questions? Okay, I'm a potential homeowner,
Mhm.
buyer. So if I don't know, what are the potential? What are the steps?
Well, oh, you know what? Can I grab my little prompt and show you?
Sure.
I should have pulled that out
I
already.
like that.
I should have pulled that out already. Sorry about that.
Not a problem.
So this is what I pass out, and so this kind of walks them through the whole entire process. Step one is obviously to contact me, their realtor.
Hmm.
Step number two is to get pre-approved by a lender, because you want to make sure that you get pre-approved, because before you go looking at houses, you need to know what price range you need to be looking at. You don't want
Gotcha.
to go out and find a home that you fall in love with, and then you find out, you may not be approved for that home.
Okay.
So that's the number one most important step. Once you get that pre-approval from a lender, the hunt is on. I will send you homes that fit your criteria. We can go through a long questionnaire, figuring out what's important to you in a home, what you're looking for, what your must-haves are, what are some things you can't live without, your definite must-haves, and some things that, are, you can live without. So we have to have that list to start. And the area is important as well. Once you find the home that you like, then the negotiations start. That's when it's important
Gotcha.
to have a good realtor that can negotiate for you, because you're going
Hmm.
to have to negotiate with the other realtor that's selling the home, because they're going to be representing their seller. They want to get the most money for their seller. And I want to get the best deal for my buyer. So
Gotcha.
that's where you're going to have to negotiate the price, the contingencies, if you want to ask for closing help, if you want to ask for a 30-day closing, if you want to ask for an inspection. So these are things that you want to put into your offer to offer the buy the home.
Okay.
Then you're going to do your due diligence, which is where we're going to get the inspections done, which I have a list of inspectors that I can recommend to my buyers. And the appraisal gets done. That's done through the mortgage company. So once you do get under contract, the contract is forwarded to the mortgage company, and then they start the process of getting your loan fully approved, because it's really just pre-approved in the beginning. And then once they get the contract, then it goes through the whole underwriting, the whole actual approval. So they're going to order the appraisal on the home for you. Then you're going to shop around and get your homeowner's insurance, because you definitely need that in order to go to closing.
Yeah.
And that's going to protect you and your home. Right before closing, you're going to get your closing disclosure, which is the breakdown of all your numbers for settlement. And you're going to find out exactly how much cash you need to go to closing. And then you're going to have your final walkthrough, usually the day before, 2 days before closing, where you're going to walk through the home, make sure either all the items from your inspection are repaired or fixed, and that the house is still in the same condition that it was when you first saw it. And then you're going to have your closing, and that's where you sign everything, and that's where you get your keys. And then congratulations. After that, you're a homeowner.
And then congratulations. That is awesome. Boy, lots of steps though, I tell you.
It's 10 steps. Yep.
10 steps. Wow. And then congratulations, you are a home owner.
But I try to make it as an agent, as your agent and your representative, I try to make it as smooth as possible for you. So I do a lot of the behind the scenes work so that the buyer just, can not have so many things to worry about. That's my job.
Now, are you saying that you, let's see here. Are you representing only buyers, or you're representing buyers and sellers? I mean, you work for buyers.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Buyers and sellers. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So,
absolutely. And renters too. Renters too.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have some renter clients. Yep.
Wow. Okay. So, how many homes can you say you possibly have sold over the years?
Oh my goodness, over the years. Let's see. Well, with the builders, I mean, there were so many homes, probably maybe 45 to 60 per year, because I was always up there with 20 million in sales every year with the builder. So getting those awards. So that was a lot of homes. So it's a little bit different when you're on the realtor side than when you're with the builder side. Because with the builder, you're in a community, so everybody's coming to you, to the model home. So it's a little bit different than when you're as a realtor. So as a realtor, I've been a realtor for 3 years now. So it's been about 40 homes.
Wow.
In those 3 years.
Wow. It's interesting. Wow. It's really great. And I'm glad that you did definitely go through the steps that people interested in either purchasing or, selling can understand. No, that was for buyers.
Yeah, that was just for buyers.
Now, are there steps for sellers as well that you have a listing?
I do have a list, and it's a packet that we have to go through with the seller, because it's steps. They have to first. We have our first meeting. Sorry, I don't have a fancy schmancy thing for the sellers, but I do have a packet for them that has everything in there. So at our initial meeting, I usually do a walkthrough of the home. Once we've agreed that I'm going to list the home for them, I have to walk through the home, see if anything needs to be repaired or replaced, and then declutter. That's the most important thing, is declutter. When you're selling your home, you have to take anything personal out of the home. Nobody wants to walk in and see your family photos, as pretty as they might be, but you really need to declutter and depersonalize the home, because the buyer that's coming in, they need to be able to imagine themselves there. Okay. So that's very important as a seller. So usually we have them remove everything out of the home. And sometimes staging is necessary. Staging makes a big difference in a home also, because it's very aesthetically pleasing when you walk in a home and you see it set up. Just like when you go to a model home, don't you? Have you ever been to a model home?
Yes.
And so you go in those model homes, don't you want to just buy everyone you walk in?
You do, yeah.
They look
Yeah,
so
you get so
nice.
many ideas like, "Oh my god, it's a beautiful piece," especially if you love art or something like this. Like, "Oh my gosh." Yeah, yeah,
Exactly,
I get it. I get what you're talking about, yeah.
So that's where staging comes in. So once the homeowner moves all their items out, we can stage the home to make it look, nice, like a model basically. So it's nothing personal in there, but somebody can imagine themselves living there.
Right.
So that's usually, it takes a couple weeks for that whole process from
Mhm.
the start to getting, depending on how their time frame too. I mean, some people, some sellers are ready to go. They'll get on it right away. Some people need a little bit more time. If
Yeah.
they've been in the house 20 years, it's not going to happen overnight. They're not going to get the home emptied overnight, but it's all a process. So once they get that emptied, we get it staged. We get the professional photos. Always use professional photos. Cannot
Mhm.
stress this enough because people that don't use professional photos, it makes a big difference. And that's the first time somebody is seeing the home is through the photos.
Got you.
So if somebody sees the home and the photos aren't great, they don't look good. I mean, they're not even going to go see the house in person.
Got you.
So
Got
that's
you.
the first impression. So always got to have a professional photo photographer come out and do the photos. Then
Okay.
you get the home ready to list on the market, and then you just market the home wherever you can. When we put it on MLS, that goes out to all the real estate agents. It also goes to lots of other secondary sites. So there's a
Mhm.
lot of exposure that the home gets. Then you
Mhm.
can do open houses in the neighborhood for people to come in. They can just come in on their own during those specific hours without an agent. They don't need the agent to let them in because you're doing an open house. So yeah, so that's what you want to do to get the house marketed and get so that we can get the highest price for it for the seller.
Okay. And MLS, I know that is a labeling or code for that particular home. What is that
Yeah, like
exactly? I'm sorry.
multi-listing, multiple
Got
listing.
you.
Hmm.
Okay, multiple listing. All right, so that's when we will see you on see the property either listed on Zillow or a couple of other sites very similar.
Yeah, so Zillow pulls everything from MLS.
Got you.
So MLS is the most up-to-date accurate. So if you want to know something, accurate, that's why we send everything directly from MLS because that is accurate and up to date. So if something gets under contract, if a home gets under contract, an agent puts it under contract, it's going to show that right away.
Got you.
Zillow, there's a lagging time, so it may still show that it's available. I've had clients who send me a home and say, "Oh, I just saw this on Zillow. Can we go see it?" But when I pull it up in MLS, it's under contract because
Got you.
there's just a lag time there. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. And then and that's pretty much it from the seller's end. Those are the steps from the seller's end.
Hmm. Hmm.
Then they sell their home. It's congratulations, right?
They sell their home. They do the same thing. They don't have to do as much as the buyer because
Right.
they don't have to have the inspection. That's on for the buyers. They don't have to do anything with the appraisal. That all comes from the buyer's lender. So they're just getting their home ready to be, to show as best it can show.
Yeah.
And then they have to get the resale documents if it's in an HOA community. They have to do little things like that. But then they just come to settlement and hand over their keys.
Oh, wow.
But then they're picking up a check for their house. So
Yep, that's right. Oh, wow.
whereas
That
the
is great.
buyer is getting their keys, but the seller is giving the keys and getting their check.
Okay. Okay, got you. Okay, well, that's some great tips and information there because thank you for those steps because again, it's so many people that buying homes, and not to say it can be a scary process, but when you're not knowledgeable, you don't know what the questions to ask, you kind of can get, a little lost in the sauce. So it's really great to be able to have someone to give you a visual or a clear understanding of the steps it takes in the home buying process. And then also if you're wanting to sell a home, because there are people who definitely want to sell a home and they're looking for somebody who can really help them get as smooth of a process as possible. So thank you so much for that information. Right now, we're going to go ahead and just step out into a little commercial. I want you guys to meet April J. Armstrong. She's actually on tonight. And thank you, April. And thank you, Sophia, for chiming in and checking in. I have a question from April for you in just a moment. But first, let's go over and get to know who she is. And thank you again, April, for presenting an interview with. So we'll be right back.
Okay.
April says, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, all under the name Armstrong International Media, your spot for internet TV broadcasting for poetry and indie artists. AIM for the culture, for the collective.
Hey guys, I know everybody is really worried in the housing market right now because they think it's not a good time to buy or sell. But that is so wrong. It's still a great time to buy. Right now, it's perfect time to buy because why? There's less competition, which means you have a much better chance of getting your offer accepted on a property that you love instead of getting like outbid like was happening the last 2 or 3 years. So you have a much better chance of getting your offer accepted with contingencies, with inspections. I mean, the last couple of years, people have been foregoing inspections, which I always thought was crazy. I never let any of my clients do that. But right now you can have contingencies. So it's a much better time right now, even with the rates a little bit higher than, what they've been the last 2 years. Rates have been higher than this before. That's not even a big deal either, because guess what? You get in the house that you love, and then a year from now, when they go back down, you just refinance. It's really a no-brainer. If you want more information, I have like plenty of lenders that I work with that have so many different programs. Right now, there's so many programs in Maryland, in the state of Maryland and DC, that can help you get into a home with little to no money. So please give me a call, 240-380-5585, and I'll help you out.
All right, and we are back. If you're just tuning in, I'm Eunice White. I'm the host of An Interview With, and tonight my special guest is Realtor Tracy Thompson. Tracy works for Keller Williams Washington Capital Hill, and she's been in this business for a very long time. And she is so, as she just mentioned a few seconds ago, almost 60 homes. and it's a business that she absolutely loves and adores. That last video, Tracy wanted to kind of, take the fear out of the home buying process based on what we're seeing possibly in the economy, and letting you know that it's still a great time to buy. Tracy, in that video, you talked about less competition with contingencies and inspections, and why, not to and why we shouldn't fear high interest rates because we can always refinance later. Do you want to kind of go back over that a little bit?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The market, the market has definitely shifted from what it's been in the last 2 or 3 years since COVID. It's been a crazy fanatic market is what it's, described as, but it's not been a normal market. So right now, as the market is shifting back to what we call like a normal market, people are thinking, whoa, what's going on here? They're kind of afraid because they're used to this craziness that we've had the last 2 to 3 years where houses were selling in, 1 or 2 days. I mean, that is unheard of, so that was a little bit crazy. So the market, the buyers were out there like searching for homes and not getting homes because they were getting outbid. When you had 10, 20 people putting an offer on the same home, that's escalating the price up. So the prices were going up and it became like a bidding war. And then people were paying a lot more for homes than maybe what the home was worth. They were foregoing inspections, which I never let any of my clients do that. I did not advise foregoing inspections because you want to know what's going on behind the walls of the house. People were foregoing appraisals. People were foregoing a lot of things because they were desperate to get this house because that's how crazy the market was. So, and the rates were just so low. I mean, it started obviously with the rates being so low. On average, the rates, have been averaging around 6% from like 1990 to 2022. Okay. They've been the lowest they've been, which was like 2.85. They were in 2020. During COVID. That's the lowest they've been. So at that point, that's when people started going out and buying. And then it created this massive rush for homes, and
Wow.
the bidding and the outbidding, and people not getting the homes they wanted. It was crazy because I even bought my home in the middle of that. So I experienced that too. When we were looking for homes, we got, we lost out on a couple, but we ended up with the perfect home. But that's what it was. So now that the market has shifted, it's really just more normalized. Even though the rates are still, the rates are around 6 or 7 right now. But again, you can always refinance when they go back down, because historically that's what the rates do. They go up, they go down. That they don't stay the same. I mean, that just doesn't happen. So that's normal. It's just people just started panicking. So it was kind of slow around the winter, November, December, which that's kind of normal too around the holidays. It tends to slow down, but actually I've seen it pick up again this January. I have a lot more clients all of a sudden in January, a lot more buyers that are ready, that they're not afraid anymore, because at first people were afraid, like, what's going on? These rates were going up so high, so quick, and people were worried. But they've been at 15% before. I mean, yeah, that was in the 80s, but it's happened, and people still bought houses. I mean, it shouldn't be about the rate. It should be about the house. If you need a house, you go out and you get your home. I mean, if the rate is a little bit higher than what you want to pay, you can refinance in another year or two when they go back down, because they eventually will. There's also other options. You can buy down your rate. If you really want to get in with a lower rate, you can buy it down. Also right now, because of the shift in the market, sellers are also willing to give a little bit of extra help, like maybe some closing help, to help you buy that rate down. So buyers have a really good advantage right now with the market being the way it is, because there's less competition. So they may be able to get the house that they really want right now. And the sellers are going to be a little bit more lenient and giving them more than they would have, 2 years ago. They weren't giving anything. They were, laughing at you if you asked for a closing house. Like, what? No, you get out of here. On to the next person, because they had 20 people trying to get their house.
Oh, wow.
They don't. And I mean, inventory is still low. I mean, it's about 10% less than it was, down from what it was last year. Inventory is still low. So sellers still have the opportunity to sell their homes too. It's not like it's just a buyer's market. It's still good for sellers because there's low inventory. So they still could get multiple offers, maybe looking at 1 or 2 as opposed to 10 or 20 right now.
Oh, I see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Does that
We
make
have
sense?
a question. Oh, go ahead. I'm so sorry.
I was just saying, does that make sense?
It makes sense. It definitely makes sense. Hey guys, and if you're watching via YouTube, which you should be, because I'm only on YouTube, right? I used to be on Facebook, so I kind of get myself mixed up. But please, if you want to comment on the video, please log into your YouTube. That's the only way I'll be able to know that you're there. That's number one. A lot of people will see the video and they say, "Oh, I saw you on YouTube, but I couldn't comment." And you can't comment until you actually sign in to your YouTube account, and this is by using your email address. So, sign in your email, and then you can just go right into YouTube and find us. I'm Eunice White at an interview with, and let us answer some questions for you. Tracy is here; is very knowledgeable, and she can give you a wealth of info. So we do have Armstrong International Media LLC. April is asking, when purchasing a home, how and or why is the seller able to keep the earnest money?
How are they able to keep it?
How and or why? Yeah.
Well, that would be if the buyer was in default for some reason or another. So if the buyer was in default, the seller has the, option to keep the earnest money deposit. So examples of the buyer being in default, if the buyer, because everything is on a timeline. So once you get under contract, it's a contract. So you have to follow your timelines in the contract. If the buyer, for instance, was supposed to have their loan approved by a certain date and that did not happen, they're in default. So the seller can cancel them and move on to somebody else, and they can keep the earnest money deposit. So it's if the buyer was in default, that's how it can be kept. Mm-hmm.
Okay, good question. If you guys have any other questions, please drop them in the comments on YouTube, and we'll see you guys. Remember, you have to log in order for us to be able to see that you're here. Otherwise, I'll see you on the other side and say, "Oh, good, you showed up." That's pretty much how it normally works. Okay, so let's talk about some myths really quickly.
Mhm.
I just had a chance to go online. I think it was realtor.com. I know there are a lot of trends out there in the market right now for 2023. You could talk about that too. But when we're talking about myths, can you dispel either of these? This is from, let's see, I cannot find the site. I'm so sorry. The name of the site where I got this information from, but let's just go for it. Let's tell me what you think about some of the myths that this one person put up. He said one of the myths are the only way to win a home in a hot market is by waiving the home inspection. You just covered that and said that's not necessary. Is that true?
That's true. It's not necessarily, and it's not necessary. It just depends on what the seller is looking for. It could be a seller that wants a quick close, or it could be and somebody could want the closing to be drawn out 45 days, and then the other person could do it in 30. It just depends on what the seller is looking for. So it's not necessarily just waiving the inspection. Sometimes it's waiving the appraisal too. That was a big one that people were doing, was waiving the appraisal. And that means that if the house is listed for 600 and, there's 20 offers on it and they're going up to 700, it probably is not going to appraise for that 700. But if you waive the appraisal, that means you will be willing to pay the difference. If it comes in appraised at 600, you're willing to pay that difference between the 600 and 700,000.
Okay.
So that's what people were doing. So when the market was a little bit crazy, yeah. So that's a way to win the offer too, if you waive that appraisal.
Okay. Now, here is another one I believe you covered already. Myth 2, wait to get pre-approved for a mortgage until after you find the perfect house.
No.
Right.
So you can't do that because, like I said, you'll find the perfect house and then you'll realize, wait, you're not quite approved for that. So then you're going to be sad and upset. We don't want to go through all that. You don't want to go through all that being disappointed. No, you want to look at homes that's in your price range of what you're approved with, what you're approved for, what you're comfortable with paying every month. And you should not be looking at homes until you are pre-approved with a lender, because another reason is when you go to make an offer, if you go out and look at a home today and you fall in love with that home, you want to make an offer that day, you need to have a pre-approval to go with that offer. So you don't have time to go and get that done. By then, somebody else has put the offer on the house and so you need that pre-approval first.
All right. So guys, keep that in mind. All right, here's another myth that I just found. Always start with an offer lower than the asking price.
I don't agree with that. I mean, even in a buyer's market, I don't think I agree with that. I mean, it would really have to be a strong buyer's market, which we really haven't seen in a while, but for you to come in lower than the asking price, you just don't want to come in lower than the asking price, especially if you want the house. So.
Right. Okay. All right. Another one I have here is it says another myth. So you must have a 20% down payment to buy a home.
Oh, that's a big myth. That is a big myth, especially these days. And I'm glad you brought that up because I can talk about there's so many programs out there too. Besides the programs, which I'll mention in a minute, but you can have FHA is 3.5% down. Okay, so that's the minimum on an FHA. You can put 3.5% down. You can also put 5% down. You can put 10% down. The days of 20% down are, they're long gone. I mean, yes, you can put 20% down, but that is not the minimum. And also right now, there's so many different home ownership programs in the state of Maryland and in the state and in DC. I'm not licensed in Virginia, but I'm sure they have their own programs, but I'm just licensed in Maryland and DC, so I know about those. But there's a Maryland Mortgage Program. DC has HPAP. There's also NACA. There's lots of programs out there that will help you for first-time home buyers only. It will help you pay your down payment, help you with your closing costs. I have lenders that are proficient in all of these programs that can help buyers get into homes with little to no money down. I mean, when you see how little money people are coming out of pocket, it's ridiculous. Like, and they're getting the keys to a brand new home. Yeah.
Wow, wow. So here's another myth that would, okay, so do you need to be debt free with perfect credit to buy a home?
No, no, another myth. You don't need to be debt free. They go by your debt to income ratio. So
Mhm.
it's based on that number. They go by your debt to income ratio. They also go by your credit score. So a lot of times, if your credit isn't where it needs to be, the lender will help you get it there because they'll tell you exactly the steps, what you need to do to get it where it needs to be. They can do a simulation that will tell you, hey, if you pay this off or if you get this down to this amount, your score will jump, 90, 60, whatever points. So they will give you all that information and, that'll help you get to where you need to be. All of my lenders do that. So it's a pretty common thing because people are ready right away, but people, stuff pops up that people sometimes don't remember or don't know it's on your credit,
Mhm.
especially if you're not checking your credit all the time. So once you do go in for that pre-approval, that's when you'll find out, all that information. And then the lender will work with you to get you to where you need to be.
Okay. All right. Well, you've heard some great information, guys, from Tracy. She gave us some myths to debunk. That was really cool. Oh, you know what? I have another question that just popped in. What score do lenders look at? Is it the FICO score or all three bureaus?
It's the middle score of all three. They use the middle score from all three credit bureaus.
The middle score. Got you. Okay.
So if one is 700, if one is 650, and one is 670, they'll use the 670.
Okay. That's good. Good question. Thank you so much, April. That was a great question. And speaking of, April has another message for us. We're going to come out really quickly and go back. Let's
Okay.
and then learn more about what and this and I know that you're giving us information just for the DMV area, but this information pretty much spans across the whole nation. Just give or take a little here and there. So yeah, we'll be back to talk a little bit more about that. So give us one moment and let's hear from April again.
Okay.
Right house music.
All right. I want to thank April again, April J. Armstrong of Armstrong International Media and Distribution, LLC, aim for the culture for the collective, for presenting an interview with April. If you're interested, in having any content on the AIM network, get in contact with April at, I want to pull it up quickly, at aimincorporated21@gmail.com. And if you want to learn more about her network, you can visit the AIM network at theaimnetwork.com to see what other fabulous shows and content she have on her network, on her internet network. An interview with will also air every Wednesday at 3:30 p.m. on Untapped Music Radio. .airtime.pro. And if you would like to have, it's a radio internet show produced by JG Hatchett LLC. And if you too would like to have, talk radio or music of that sort, any type of programming to air on this wonderful internet radio station, please get in contact with JG Hatchett LLC at gmail.com. Send your inquiries there and see how you too can have your information on your content on that radio station, which is pretty a global naval station, radio station, pretty global listenership, wonderful station. So thank you so much to Untapped Music Radio, Untapped Talent Recordings, and AIM for presenting and supporting an interview with. Thank you so much. All right. So we are back. Again, if you're just tuning in, I am here with Tracy Thompson. She's a realtor out of the DMV area. She represents, let's see, go back up to the top, Keller Williams, Washington Capitol Hill. And she has been selling homes, assisting both buyers and sellers for a while now, and have given us an idea of how many homes she's had the pleasure of being able to, assist and sell. We're back to talk about. I know you talked about programs in our last segment for persons who are we saying a credit challenge necessarily, or it's just for any type of buyer and or seller.
Any type of buyer, or it's for any type of buyer, like a first-time home buyer. Sometimes a first-time home buyer doesn't have all the funds they need to go to closing, or it's just the states are taking initiative to kind of like help home ownership because they want to have more homeowners in the state and the city of DC. So it's a program to help people get obtain home ownership.
Okay. All right. So I guess next I want to kind of ask you if you can give us some, I want to call it trends. What are the housing trends, I would say, or predictions to your knowledge for 2023?
What do you mean? Like
housing market? Yeah, what is looking like?
What does it look like? You mean where is it going to stay like it is in this normalcy that we're seeing right now?
Yeah,
I think it will stay like it is because the rates have they haven't been going up like they were a couple months ago. Hopefully they'll start to come back down, but it's hard to tell. That's the only thing we don't know until it happens is with the rates. Right now, what I'm seeing a lot of is new construction. And I think you mentioned you've seen a lot of new construction too.
A lot.
I think a lot of that stemmed from because with the market being the way it was in the last 3 years, there was low inventory. There were no homes available. Builders had to step it up. Builders were building a lot more homes. So now you do see a lot more people looking at new construction because they couldn't get the house that they wanted because they were getting outbid. So they went with new construction. So you do see a lot more new neighborhoods popping up, now than I think we saw before. So I think that's going to be a big trend. And I love new homes because like you mentioned, and we talked about, I came from new homes. I love new construction. And another myth about that is that when you are buying new construction, that you don't need a realtor. That is a myth. Because the salesperson there is working they're representing the builder. So they're representing the builder's best interest. So you want to have somebody representing your best interest too. So like a lot of the times, the builder has their own inspections, but you still want to have your own inspector too. So you do still need to have a realtor representing you, even with new construction, because you still have to go through a big process, throughout the building. And so you want to have somebody that's knowledgeable with that. Yeah.
Oh.
I love new construction. I mean, there's a lot of benefits to it too, because you're getting a brand new home. So it comes with a home warranty. Almost every builder has a home warranty. So you don't have to worry about anything breaking down. You don't have to buy a separate warranty as you would if you're purchasing a resale home. It's never been lived in. That usually the builder is giving closing help too. So that's how they incentivize you to use their lender, though. Usually it's tied to using their lender, but they will offer you closing help to do that. And then the fun part is like watching the house get built. Like, my first experience with Michael down in Austin, that was the fun part. So it's like going every day, every weekend to watch the process. And that's really, really fun and exciting.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Picking everything in the house too. You get to pick everything.
Exactly. And that is really fun. Everything that you provided tonight has been some serious gems, and I'm hopeful that it will help those who are interested in buying and selling, and they can get in contact with you. I'm going to put up your contact information because there's nothing like having someone that you can trust to get you and take you through all of these steps in a seamless way, Yeah. If you are looking to buy and or sell property, please get in contact with Realtor Tracy Thompson. She have her phone number here is 240-380-5585. She can also be reached via email, Tracy4Thompson@gmail.com. She's also on IG and TikTok. So her IG handle is Tracy Thompson Realtor. TikTok is at Realtor Tracy T. So please reach out to her. I've had an opportunity to refer someone to her most recently, and that was after I saw the video that we showed tonight, when you would, basically dispelling the myths, if you will, and helping people, not be fearful in purchasing or selling. So that was really great. That's what drew me to you. I was like, you know what? I need to have you come on the show and just elaborate more on that and educate us with the entire process.
Yeah.
I was able to send someone to her, and they were pretty fascinated. She was pretty fascinated. So hopefully we'll see.
What prompted me to make that video too was I had a client, and it was like she just said something to me one day that really I just was like, why do you think that? She said, oh, this market sucks right now. And I'm like, what? Why would you say that? Why do you think that? And when I questioned why she thought that, because I said, I'm sorry you feel that way, but why do you think that? Because I think quite the opposite. And she really couldn't even give me an answer. But that made me realize that is the perception that people have. They're just saying it, but that doesn't mean it's true. And and then that's when I made that video, because I'm like, look, it's not a bad time. It's still a great time for buyers because there's less competition right now, and you don't have to go through all these crazy things to get the house you want, like things I mentioned earlier with the no appraisals and the no inspections. And sellers, it's still a good time, because I think right now with sellers, because of the way the prices have been escalating, your home has appreciated faster, at a faster rate than it normally would have. So the sellers are still in a good position right now too, because the house next to them sold for, 30 or 40,000 more than it normally would have. So then their house value has gone up. So their home value has appreciated at a quicker rate because of what's happened in the last couple of years. So it's a great time for both still.
All right. Well, if we have any other questions for Tracy, please put them in the comments. And Tracy, do you want to go back over those steps again for the buyers?
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry.
Handy dandy card.
Yes.
So the most important thing, well, the first thing is to contact me. That is the most important thing. Contact me. The second thing is to definitely get your pre-approval, because like I said, you cannot go out looking at homes if you don't know what you're pre-approved for. You don't want to look at a home that's not in your price range. Once you get your pre-approval, then the hunt is on. We make a list of all your wants and things that you want in your home, deal breakers, must-haves to find the perfect home. I set up a criteria for you for your search online, and it'll automatically send you homes based on your criteria. So then once you are ready to go look, we'll set up a day, we'll go out and look at the homes. Once you put an offer on a home, well, first we're going to negotiate what we're going to put as our offer. Then you're going to put an offer on the home, submit it to the other agent so that he can submit it to his seller. And there may be some negotiating at that point. The seller may accept your offer, or they may send a counter offer. Once your offer is accepted, you're going to get your appraisal done. The mortgage company is going to order the appraisal for you. You just have to pay for it. We'll get the inspection done, usually within 5 days, and see if there's any repairs that need to be done. We'll request those repairs to be made by the seller. You're going to order your homeowner's insurance because you need that to go to closing. Then you're going to get your closing disclosure, which is your final settlement statement with all of your figures on it, showing you what exactly you need to bring to closing, the amount that you need. Then you're going to have your final walkthrough, which is where you're going to make sure all those repairs that you requested, if you had any, are finished. You're going to make sure the house is in the same condition that it was when you last saw the house. Then you're going to go to closing, and that's when you, as a buyer, will get your keys after you sign all your closing documents. And you'll get your keys, and congratulations, you'll be a homeowner at that point.
I love it. I love it. So everybody, again, if you are interested in having a fantastic realtor walk you through that process, it was just such a wonderful visual, actually. Please get in contact with Tracy. I have her information online again, on site again here. Her phone number again is 240-380-5585. Again, she's registered and/or licensed rather here in the DMV. Her email is Tracy, the number 4 Thompson at gmail.com. She have 2 social media channels that you can reach her on. One is Instagram, Tracy Thompson Realtor, and the other TikTok at Realtor Tracy T. Tracy, I want to thank you so much for all that wonderful information. I know that there's probably way more that you could share. And but I think if people get in contact with you, they're going to have a wonderful experience, a warm experience, an educational experience. And again, all the way down to receiving those keys. It's just going to be a wonderful time. So people, please reach out to Tracy.
That's the fun part. And that's why I love what I do, because when I see my clients' face at the end of closing and they get their keys, or even the seller that's getting their check, that's what brings me joy, that I helped them get to that point, and I help them get, go through the transaction and help make it as smooth as possible, as easy as possible for them. And that's what I love, why I've done this for so many years, because that moment is what does it right there. Everything that happened the past, couple months, if we've had snags or whatever, but once you get to that final moment and they're so happy and you see their big smiles on their face, that's what makes it all worth it.
Oh, wow. Okay. Anything else you want to share, like for persons interested in becoming a realtor? Do you have any advice you want to give them?
Oh yeah. I mean, if you want to become a realtor, I love what I do. You have to have a passion for it. If that's your passion, reach out to me. I can put you in touch with my market center, and we can get you in for a meeting. But if it's your passion, definitely go for it, because it's definitely mine and I love it. So reach out to me.
And then in terms of gaining education to become a realtor, what is that like? What is that process like, really quickly?
You would have to go to real estate school, and you would have to pass your exam. Then you take your state exams. And then after you pass your state law and your state main exam, you get your license. And then you have to sign up with a brokerage. So you have to find a brokerage to sign up to hang your license at. They kind of look over you with your license. So.
Okay. Got it. All right. And then lastly, any other extra information you want to share before we close?
That's it. I think we pretty much covered everything. I'm glad that you let me have this platform to talk about what I love. And, hopefully if I help one person, that was worth it.
I know, right? Exactly. I feel the same way when I do this show. This is absolutely awesome. Well, again, you guys have had an opportunity to meet Realtor Tracy Thompson. And again, Tracy is a licensed real estate agent representing Keller, Williams, Washington, Capitol Hill. Tracy has been a real estate agent for a number of years, and she has a wealth of expertise to share with anyone who's interested in buying, selling, or just want information on how to become a real estate agent. Tracy is here for you. So again, I have her information on the screen. Please get in contact with her if you find yourself in one of those situations. You're either a buyer, a seller, or you know what, Tracy, I would like to be mentored into becoming a real estate agent. How do I do this? And she's there for you. I want to thank Armstrong International Media and Distribution for presenting an interview with on the AIM Network. April J. Armstrong is the person that I absolutely love and adore, who have been supporting me from day one here on an interview with. If you too would like to have your shows like this, talk radio, if you're a filmmaker, if you're a poet, if you're a musician, if you have some type of content that you would like to have aired on her network, please get in contact with April at aimincorporated21@gmail.com. You can also visit the aimnetwork.com to see what she have going on. The AIM Network, AIM network.com. Want to repeat also that this show will air on Untapped Music Radio tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. as untappedmusicradio.airtime.pro. The same replay. The same program rather will replay on that station tomorrow. And if you would like to have your content on a radio network, please get in contact with JG Hatchett LLC at gmail.com. Again, that's JG Hatchett LLC at gmail.com, and speak with Terry Hatchett about having your content on her radio station, Untapped Music Radio. All right. And if you would like to be on this show, if you would like to have your services or your talent shown to an untapped audience, you can get in contact with me. I'm Eunice White, and you can reach me at an interview with 430@gmail.com. I'd love to shine the spotlight on you. That's why I do this show and meet so many wonderful and talented independent artists and entrepreneurs. It's just a blessing. So again, I'd be happy to interview you. Just reach out to me at an interview with the numbers 430@gmail.com. Okay. All right. So putting Tracy's information up here one more time, just one more time. So please reach out to her. She is very, very, very highly recommended. I'd say that. And I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for you, Tracy. And I look forward to hearing wonderful things more about what you're doing in the real estate world. So thank you again for coming on the show tonight and just educating us. I'm so happy to have you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity.
You are so welcome. All right, guys. Well, thank you. If there's nothing else, then we're going to go ahead and close. And I look forward to seeing you guys on next week. We have a lot more people coming through in the coming weeks. We have musicians, of course. We have authors, have filmmakers who would love for you to get to know them and their work. And we hope that you support them. So again, please come through Tuesdays at 8 p.m. and just let's learn more about wonderful, talented people who can just grow. Okay, we're here to help everybody grow. All right, Miss Tracy, thank you so much. And I'm going to close out with your video one more time so people can remember to reach you. Okay, and then we're going to close out from there. So, guys, take good care of yourselves this week. Take good care, and Happy New Year to everybody. Happy New Year. Take good care of yourselves, and we'll see you soon, right here on an interview with. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Mommy.
Right. All right.
Hey guys. I know everybody is really, really worried in the housing market right now because they think it's not a good time to buy or sell. But that is so wrong. It's still a great time to buy. Right now, it's a perfect time to buy because why? There's less competition, which means you have a much better chance of getting your offer accepted on a property that you love instead of getting outbid like was happening the last 2 or 3 years. So you have a much better chance of getting your offer accepted with contingencies, with inspections. I mean, the last couple of years, people have been foregoing inspections, which I always thought was crazy. I never let any of my clients do that. But right now you can have contingencies. So it's a much better time right now, even with the rates a little bit higher than, what they've been the last 2 years. Rates have been higher than this before. That's not even a big deal either, because guess what? You get in the house that you love, and then a year from now, when they go back down, you just refinance. It's really a no-brainer. If you want more information, I have plenty of lenders that I work with that have so many different programs. Right now, there's so many programs in Maryland, in the state of Maryland and DC, that can help you get into a home with little to no money. So please give me a call, 240-380-5585. And I'll help you out.